Hello, 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 and welcome to everything that I think is wrong with Babylon's Fall. Um, I may have mentioned this in the last video, may have not, but I wanted to go away and make a list of all the things, so I actually had like a proper list of things to talk about, like with doing this. So I mean, let's not waste too much time and let's kind of just get into it. I'm just sort of hanging out in the lobby, as I quite often have to. Um, I've tried to break it up into categories. Some stuff sort of kind of drifts across two categories, so if it doesn't quite fit how you think it's going to, then that's why. It's kind of, yeah. Yeah, we're going to start off with gear. So what is wrong with gear in Babylon's Fall? I mean, it's a central mechanic, so you'd think this would be something that they would have like really polished and put a lot of effort into, but nope. Um, so let's start with numbers mean nothing. Like numbers really do mean nothing. Like outside of this big power that is next to my character portrait here, the numbers really, really mean nothing. So you can look at say like damage, critical, impact, blocks, speed, spirit. Okay, spirit siphon is maybe a little bit of an outlier. Actually, I would say spirit siphon is kind of an okay stat. But what the numbers basically do is they limit you. They just limit you with what content you can do. So the higher your number, the more of the game you get to enjoy, basically. And that is it. That's literally it. The higher that power number is, the more you can play. Nothing else like about it matters. Stats and passives on gear, they are boring and they feel non-existent in most cases. There are exceptions. So lifesteal and SP siphon are kind of like useful skills because they just keep your health and your essentially mana slash stamina topped up. Um, but everything else, it's all kind of just the same thing. It's like it's all just numbers. Like it's just adding little bits of numbers, and none of them are significant enough to actually change the way you play or change the way anything feels. It seems. You can get status ailments on, like it says there, like parry slow. Um, I've not actually seen any of this. Jesus Christ, why do people message me now? Um, But yeah, no, they're just pointless. Like none of this stuff has been thought out. It's all just all back end stuff. It's just very boring. It doesn't affect. So next up, we'll talk about Divine Gear. Divine Gear is the gold gear. It's like I guess exotics in Destiny. Only there's nothing exotic or special about them. Um, Basically, they give you sort of like it seems as though what it gives you is a bunch of skills that are kind of designed to work in tandem with one another, as opposed to just random stats and passives. Which, like, obviously is better. It's a bit more ideal, and you can kind of start to build something based off of that. The problem is you can only have one golden piece of gear in each of these. So one bit of armor and I think one weapon. I will have to double check it with the weapons, but definitely for armor. I don't know if you can get golden accessories, and I don't know if that's even a thing that would make any difference. But yeah, it's really strange. It makes it very difficult to actually build a build on account of how random all the other passives are that you can get. You then, have this golden piece which can't go with anything because it's got to be a single piece because you can't have more than one equipped. This also creates issues with like if you're like particularly bothered with your aesthetic. Let's just say you find a gear piece that you like, and you're like, "Oh, that would go really well with this other golden gear piece that I have." Nope, can't do it. So you will end up looking stupid, which is a shame because some of the designs on some of the gold gear are actually quite nice, and it would be nice to be able to actually put them together. But nope. Um, and I'd also say that like even though the stats are designed to sort of like slot together on the golden pieces of gear, I think, don't quote me on that because I haven't actually earned that many. I haven't earned doubles of anything yet, so I can't tell if it's always set skills or what. But it seems as though they're designed to complement each other at least. Um, but I will say that they're not OP enough to actually warrant them having one slot. It seems really flawed to me. I feel as though you should just be able to have all gold if you want to have all gold. It would make the game a lot more fun. It would make your characters feel a lot more like tailored and a lot more like they're actually unique. Just by like combining all of the different passives together, like because they're all high level passives, so you know surely they would be the best. I don't know. It would make it feel the most unique. But yeah, no, they limited them for some reason. It's all about limiting the player, this game. So next up, there isn't enough difference between gear rarity. So basically, the difference. So gold seems to be the only one that kind of has something going for it, and that is that all of the perks seem to kind of work together. I think. um, but if you look at like say, okay, the difference between say a green sword and a blue axe. So you've got like obviously different stats because they're different weapons, but all it is how many enchantments, i.e., passives, that weapon has on it. So green you get one, blue you get two, purple you get three, and I think on gold you get four. Do I have a gold in my inventory at the moment? If I do, I'll show you. But we can show you a purple, so that gives three. Um, okay, it doesn't look like I have a gold. I don't think I've got a gold weapon. No. So I've been breaking down all of my golds because I assume they're worthless after a while. It's another problem that we'll get into. Um, but yeah, like perks aren't unique, really. It seems on any particular piece of gear. It just seems as though they're more numerous depending on the rarity, which is a really crap way of doing things. I mean, like honestly, you can get by without most perks. If you've got like a HP siphon, you can kind of just do whatever you want because you're immortal. Or well, if it's a good level HP siphon, you're immortal, and that's the only thing you really have to look for. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it just seems very pointless. Like the rarities, there's not enough to define them from one another. With gold gear being the only exception, but gold gear is so rare and you can't stack it, so it's again, it feels very limited and pointless. Um, which leads me on to the next point. Half the gear you get is pointless and underleveled, and breaking it down gets you way too little in terms of crafting materials. So I quick matched into a mission that was a couple of levels underneath my level, and I got a bunch of level 106 gear. Do you know how good that is to me? Zero good to me. It does nothing. I can go and break those down at the forge, but it gets me so few materials that it's almost a waste of time to do so, it feels like. I might as well just go out and do another mission and get more gear and hope that it's better. And obviously when it all mounts up, I could mass break it down, I guess, which is what I've kind of been doing. Um, so yeah, like everything feels kind of pointless, which makes like progress feel kind of pointless because you're seeing your number go up every once in a while, but like half the time you're doing a mission, you're getting nothing from it. Especially if you're quick matching into stuff, because quick match you can't pick the mission you're going into, so you could be matching into a mission that's way below your level, therefore does not give you high level loot. So yeah, the next thing I've got written on this list is quite simply quantity over quality, and I to expand upon that, I would literally just say you get a ton of stuff thrown at you. It's not as overwhelming as something like Diablo or Neo, or something like that. But you do get so much pointless crap thrown at you, and it's all the same. Like, there's nothing interesting about any of it. Even the gold stuff, it's not interesting. Some of it looks cool, but it's not interesting. Um, it feels just dumb. And I mean, I'm not at end game, as you can see. Like, I'm at 126, which I think is. I'm not 100%. I think it's about approaching the halfway point, maybe. I'm wondering if it's maybe like 300 is max. I'm not too sure. But yeah, it feels just really, really blah. Like everything you pick up, it's all blah. Gold is the only thing that I really ever feel the urge to look at, and odds are I won't be able to equip it because I'll already have another gold piece on. You just happen to have caught me without one at this moment in time. So next thing, gear drops. They don't scale with you. Instead, they scale with the mission. I mean, so to be fair to the game, the gear drops do scale with you a little bit, but only up to a certain point. So basically, if you go back say you're quick matching, because that's one of your daily challenges, so you have to quick match once a day if you want to complete all your daily challenges. You could get quick matched into a level 20 mission, and you would have no choice in that. And the maximum level of equipment I could get off of that mission is, I think it's a little bit above 20, I might be wrong, but it's not much, and it caps at a certain point, and you can't go beyond that. So basically, replaying old content is pointless. Like, there is no incentive to do it. It's just a time waster. You can break the gear down, sure, but it doesn't give you hardly anything. It's like it's completely meaningless. So yeah, like it makes you not want to use the quick match function because like if you get put into a low level mission, you're just wasting your time. Like you're going to get the battle pass points for the daily challenge, but like that's it. Essentially, I have just told you the entire gear system is pointless. It's essentially what I've just said over the course of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. And gear will come back. I'll talk a bit more about gear with like some of the other stuff as well because it kind of all feeds together. But like, yeah, gear just feels so pointless. Is the sort of the overarching theme of my feedback for gear. It doesn't feel satisfying to pick up. It doesn't feel satisfying to try and build anything because you know that as soon as you build anything, you're just going to have to throw it away moments later. So the whole thing feels just dumb and pointless. It's also very cumbersome because the menus are awful in this game. But that is, again, something I'll come back to. So next up, we've got combat. So combat, provided you're not underleveled, basically boils down to button mashing. Button mashing is your bread and butter in this game. There are very few like situations where button mashing will not see you through to the end, probably with a pure platinum as well. Because the way pure platinums are calculated is so weird in this game. It doesn't make any sense. Like I've gotten pure platinums for playing horribly in the past. If you're underleveled though, like nothing can save you. Like it doesn't matter how you play. It makes no difference because enemies will just one-shot you. But yeah. Next point on combat, normal attacks are way too weak and SP attacks are way too strong comparatively. So ideally, I would like to see everything hit harder. Like I think like normal attacks should hit way harder and SP attacks should hit a little bit harder. Because at the moment, all you use your normal attacks for is replenishing your SP gauge to use SP attacks, because SP attacks deal all of the damage. And SP is a resource that I find myself, like, bottoming out on, like, very frequently. Yeah, just whatever. Like, SP attacks just seem to be the way to go. And yeah, normal attacks feel just crap. There's very little feedback from any of them. So yeah, ideally, just I'd like everything to hit harder, because at the moment I feel like I'm doing nothing. If I'm playing a mission at my level, of course. When you get a certain amount above the mission level, you do start to deal some extra damage, but like even that's a bit inconsistent. So yeah. Next up, dodging. Dodging is way too limited, and it's also randomly unresponsive. It's really strange. I think it might be a server-side thing with the unresponsiveness, but with regards to it being way too limited, you essentially have like an animation, and you can't dodge again until that animation completes. It's worth mentioning as well that your dodges are tied to your SP meter, which means you kind of have a choice between using powerful attacks and dodging, and that's dumb. That's really dumb. But like with regards to the animation, like having to wait for the animation to finish, there are a lot of enemy attacks in the game that are faster than this animation, which means you can dodge once, but then you'll get hit by the follow-up attack with absolutely no recourse at all. This is especially obvious in some of the bullet hell sections where like the enemies are shooting like little balls at you. You can dodge perfectly, but then everything else will just hit you. It's mad. So yeah, ideally I would say you want to speed up the dodging, make it so you can kind of do it whenever. Because at the moment the rules for it are kind of unclear, and I don't know whether this is because the servers like lag out or whatever, but sometimes I can dodge out of attacks, sometimes I can't. and it seems a bit inconsistent with as to which ones I can dodge cancel and which ones I can't. Um, and yeah, tying it to the SP meter is just a stupid idea, in my opinion. I'm guessing it's supposed to be an idea to make players have a choice between power and defense, but it just winds up being frustrating because you end up, as I say, bottoming out on your SP all the time, so you can't dodge or use your powerful attacks. Weapons are kind of laughably imbalanced. Certain weapons, like the shield, are only really fit for very, very specific use. To the point where, like, unless you're going for a very specific thing, you don't even want to look at a shield. It feels awful. Like, it feels awful. It doesn't feel like polished like the other weapons are. It feels like half a weapon. On top of this, like, there are also some very, very, like, again, I would just say the word is probably imbalanced. Just imbalanced weapons. The staff feels kind of lackluster, to me at least. And please do bear in mind, I am mostly a solo player. So, like, maybe in a group, staff is a lot better. But the staff is kind of difficult to use when you're playing solo because its animations are very long. You can't dodge out of most of them. And you're also rooted to the spot whilst you're attacking. It's very strange. Meanwhile, you've got weapons like the axe and the hammer that give you hyper armor, so you can just attack through enemy attacks. And then you've also got weapons like the sword and the bow, which feel a lot more responsive and a lot just better to use, like in terms of like, I don't know, they feel like they're doing what you tell them to, whereas like all the other weapons kind of feel like they're lagging behind you a little bit. I don't know, sorry, this one was a bit of a mess because the weapons are a bit all over the place, especially when you're sort of like trying to establish whether the weapon is messing up or whether you're having a weird server glitch or like whatever. So yeah, weapons just need a lot of balance. Some weapons need some stuff added to them, like just to make them feel a bit more complete. Next up, server and connection issues make enemies teleport and despawn and respawn randomly. I also put in brackets, my internet is fine, because my internet is fine. I'm on a wired internet connection, I have a fairly good package, so like, I shouldn't be skipping out. I don't skip out in other games, I don't know why this game in particular has such an issue keeping track of where I am and where enemies are. I'm sorry, I'm holding up this NPC. That is something they definitely need to fix. I don't know whether this is something, maybe it's because of my region. I'm in the UK, let me know, UK players, if you have the same kind of issues. But yeah, that's kind of been my experience with that. Next up, yeah, what we touched on earlier, enemies rarely react to attacks, and when they do, it seems a little bit random. There is some consistency to it. Certain counterattacks and certain weapon attacks do knock enemies up, but they don't always. It seems a little bit random as to whether they actually do or don't knock enemies up, which makes it very difficult to actually formulate a plan around that mechanic. It's very strange. Like, air combat is meant to be a thing, but because enemies don't react to your attacks, you can't juggle enemies, and you can't reliably knock them up or knock them down either. Sometimes it varies from enemy type to enemy type. Sometimes it varies from just like whatever the game feels like doing, basically. Um, it again seems very random. There's like the randomness just always keeps like seeping back here. Like I kind of feel like a lot of it is just out of the player's hands, out of the player's hands. Jesus. So yeah. Next up with the enemies, enemy visual design is quite varied, but the actual combat itself, outside of a few of the story bosses, is kind of devoid of any variety. But like, you're doing the same thing. It doesn't matter what enemy you're fighting. It's like, is the attack heading towards you? Move out of the way of it. If you can get behind your enemy, you're kind of cool. I don't know, like, it doesn't feel like other third-person action games. Like, I play a lot of Devil May Cry, I played a lot of Bayonetta, I played a lot of God of War. Those games all feel like I'm actually learning something when I'm playing it. This game does not feel that way. This game just feels like you are, like, hitting a wall. You're constantly just hitting a sword into a wall until the wall falls down. And that wall occasionally throws like little coloured balls at you. um, yeah, I mean there is actually literally a boss that is like a pillar that shoots balls at you. Like that's where we're at for that. But yeah, so I put underneath that some enemies have too much health, and then I put in brackets underneath that enjoyment often ends before the fight does. This is I've got a very good example that's actually on my channel, and I was playing solo, which obviously like will have increased the time that I'm in combat for, unfortunately. But it's the spider boss. There's like a spider boss. He's got a skull on its back. Really cool design, and it's actually a really cool fight. The problem is the fight goes on for about half an hour especially if you're having to play solo, and it's just not fun. It loses interest. I lost interest in it about 5 minutes into it, and I had a lot more to go. Like it was a bad time. I've then followed this comment up with enemies have way too much crowd control. I then put in brackets, let me play the game, please. This again is true. There'll be people who are like absolute masters at this game who never get hit by anything because they're amazing, and like I'm just terrible at the game, and like I just need to get good and all that kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is your average player is not going to be playing flawlessly, and all of this crowd control is not fun to get hit by. Like you can get stunned by an enemy's roar, then get webbed, then get knocked down, then get turned to stone, then get set on fire, and these can all be chained together, is the other thing. Like, so you're not just losing control for one of those status effects, you're potentially being chain crowd controlled into the floor. Oftentimes, when this happens to me, I'm not actually even taking that much damage, but I'm getting so annoyed by it. It's just annoying. They need to tone it down, like just tone down the amount of crowd control that enemies have. I've been told in my comments section before that there are charms that reduce crowd control, and I have been equipping them. It doesn't make much difference. Genuinely, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Because there are oftentimes multiple status effects in multiple missions, and also oftentimes you don't know what status effects you're going to be running into. So, like, you can't really always plan for it. So yeah, the point absolutely stands. There's too much crowd control. It's a problem. So that's it. That's all I've got for like combat at the moment. But there is some stuff in systems that kind of leaks back into combat. So systems. The game isn't balanced for single player, and given the game's player base is dwindling, this is a huge, huge oversight on the devs' part. They must have been so confident in the product that they thought, yeah, like, there's no way that people are going to have to queue solo. But it happens. The game auto boots you into a quest if you don't find someone after a certain amount of time, which means you sometimes just get booted into a quest solo. They should have made it so that enemy health scales with the number of players in the quest, but it doesn't. I'm fairly certain it doesn't. Anyways, I mean, if it does, it needs to scale more, because Jesus. Yeah, it's a huge oversight because the game's player base is dwindling, and half of the times that I play it, I am playing solo, and it's not by choice. Not by choice. I'm always in a public lobby at the moment. I'm always waiting in the lobby for as long as I can to matchmake, and about, I would say, 50% of the time, maybe 40% if we're being... Yeah, we'll say 40% of the time, I will get booted into a quest solo because no one matchmakes with me. So, yeah. Which leads me into the next point. Matchmaking takes ages, which is obviously linked to the shrinking player base. I also put as a negative that you get auto-launched into quests. There's literally no reason that you should be auto-launched into quests if you're trying to matchmake. There's no reason at all for that to be a thing. Especially when the game isn't designed to be played solo. It's ridiculous. I don't want to be randomly launched into a quest that's going to be annoying and long and a pain in the ass to complete on my own, when all I wanted to do was wait in the lobby for someone to join. It's stupid. I thought they'd removed this, but they haven't, because I got auto-launched earlier, so I know it's a thing. So the next thing that I've put up is, and this is again linked, matchmaking options are laughably limited. So quick match barely works. You get constant errors. And it's not that there are no games. I can tell you that for a fact that there are games that you can quick match into, but quick match just can't do it for some reason. I've tested this. I've tested this with someone. So we were both trying to quick match at the same time. I managed to quick match into a quest. There were still 2 open slots in the quest, and my friend could not match make in with us for the life of us. He had everything unlocked that I've got unlocked, so there was no difference in terms of like player level, really. He might have been a little bit below my level, but I think we all had the same missions unlocked, so it was like it should have been fine. But for whatever reason, the game would not matchmake him with us. Matchmaking misses things, which means it is a genuine system malfunction. Like, it's a bad. It's just bad. Another thing that sucks about quick match, you can't quick match for multiple mission types at once. You have to. So if you go into quick match, I'm doing this one-handed. I apologize if I quest board. So if you go into quick match, you have to choose between campaign and skirmish. There's no. I'm assuming you unlock other options as well, because I think there's like other game types that you unlock the further you get into the story. I've just not played the story because the cutscenes absolutely rotted my brain. But they should just have an all option at the top so you can matchmake into anything. Because, like, clearly the matchmaking doesn't work well, so just give it more options to, like, put you into. The other thing, at the moment, there is an event going on. It's the Nier event, Nier Automata campaign. You can't quick match into these quests. This seems really dumb to me. There should be an option to quick match into event quests, because at the moment everyone is playing the event quests. The problem is you have a daily that is called quick match. You have to quick match to get your daily done. But everyone's playing the event at the moment, so I can't quick match with anyone. It's really dumb. It's so stupid. Like, the design is just not there. So if I want to match with anyone into the event, I have to go into party quests, and that will give me a list of all the available quests, of which there is one. Next one. Oh god, yeah, this is a friggin' real one. So you can't do anything after queuing up a quest. So you can open this menu, but all you have access to is equipment and items, and you can't do anything on any of the menus. They're all padlocked. So there is no reason for that to even be there. Like, you can't check your challenges, you can't go to the forge, you can't go to the shop, you can't even talk to NPCs, you can't do anything whilst you're quick matching, or any kind of matching, should I say. It's bad. Like, so, you know, once you've queued a quest up, that's it. To add to this problem, you also can't change your equipment once you've queued a quest up. This means if you've match made into a quest, you have no time to change your equipment. It doesn't let you, which is dumb because some mission types have elemental weakness enemies, and they're stated in the mission type. So if you've got an elemental affinity that is gonna mess up the enemies, you want to have it. But if you've quick matched into that quest and you don't have the equipment equipped, you can't, like, optimize your loadout because the game doesn't let you. It's dumb. And it all feeds into the idea that just gear doesn't matter. Nothing about gear matters. I also put enemy HP again. It should scale with player number. I put this as a system thing, as outside of a combat thing, because, yeah, it's true. I mean, like, mentioning it twice is always a good idea, I think, because it's a big one. Enemy HP is way too high when you're playing on your own, to the point where the game is just unfun, to the point where, in certain situations, it can feel unplayable. So yeah, moving on from that, we won't mention it again. The Battle Pass. The Battle Pass is too long, but it also has way too little in it. This Battle Pass, oh, I can go this way. This battle pass is friggin' huge. It goes to 100 tiers. Now, if you look at this top row, there's almost nothing in it. You know, every other level you're missing stuff. Then you've got two levels where you're missing stuff. Missing stuff. Half of the stuff is just a crafting material that you can get by dismantling something in game. That's nothing. Like, that is literally nothing. Like these 25,000 conches. Pointless. Why is this in the battle pass? I can earn this in-game by doing two missions. It's stupid. It's completely stupid. Player cards, I guess I get it. It's a visual customization thing. Colours are fine. Armor sets are fine. These things, you can earn them by doing missions. Pointless. They shouldn't be in the battle pass, especially not the premium one. But the armor pieces are so staggered out. I have to get to 68 to unlock this loincloth that I'm never going to fucking wear. Why? The other thing that I've put is the quality of cosmetics. The quality of cosmetics is not good. It's bad. There's one in particular that I just want to find here. This. What is this? What is the design on this? You've got different elements of the chest piece that clip into itself, so it's not even been designed like in a way that looks like it's been designed properly. It looks like the strap is clipping into this weird ball thing that's on the front. I don't know why that ball thing is there. Like, I don't get it. The textures are all weird. You can change the colour of that, like, white fluffy thing on top as well, by the way, and it looks bizarre. I'm guessing it's meant to be like a Christmas thing? A Christmas rabbit thing? It looks terrible. It's terrible. And you have to get to 81 to unlock it, implying that it's some kind of rare treasure. Like, it's bad. It's very bad. Like, some of this stuff is just dire. I think this is this equipment as well? No. And is it this one? Yeah. Like, really? This is right near the end of the battle pass. It's shorts and a loincloth. It's weird. It's very weird. I don't understand. The next one is regards to menus. Menus are clunky and slow. So, like, going through, everything is delayed. I'm pushing things way before they are happening. I'm on PS4 at the moment, but I can confirm that the PS5 version is no better. It is exactly the same. And the game forces you into this menu so often because you have daily missions. In order to claim rewards from them, you need to go into this menu. You then need to go into this menu. You then need to hold down square to claim all of the missions that you've done. You would then need to go down into this menu and claim all the missions you've done here. And then down again, claim the missions you've done here, down again, down again, down again. By the time you've done this, you've spent like 10 minutes in a menu. I'm not even kidding. Okay, maybe 5 minutes. I'm probably exaggerating. But, like, it's a long time to just be scrolling through a menu. You add on to that, you've also got orders. Orders refresh after every single mission you do, and you're expected to manually go into this menu and select up to 5 of them. Or is it 6? It might be 6. But you have to do it like one at a time. So this one, do I want to accept it? Yes. Now it's accepting it. It's accepted. Right, now I need to do the next one. Hammer kills? Sure. Accept it. Like, do you see what I mean here, though? Like, this takes ages. Even if I don't think about what I'm accepting, it still takes ages. And I think I've hit my limit. Nope, one more. There we go, maximum number of orders. I would then go out into a mission. I would try and complete these for the marginally useful rewards. I mean, like, they're not great. The rewards for these missions are not great. You get a teensy bit of Battle Pass XP. Some of these can take a while unless you know exactly where to look as well, because some of them are like... sorry, specific enemy types, like Galu Conjurers, for example. Like, you might not know where to find them like really easily, kind of thing. And just because a mission says that the enemy type is there doesn't guarantee you're going to get like 10 of them. Like oftentimes there's less. And it sucks. It really sucks. And then once you're done with like the mission, you've completed the objectives, you would come back into the hub. You would then have to open this menu again, wait for it to catch up with you because it lags out. Then you go back into orders and you have to accept them as well. You have to hold down square on this menu to accept them, and then you have to re-accept all of these again. My solution to this is very simple. Auto complete and accept these missions. So make it so that you've literally got a preset number of missions. So you can have up to what? 6 of them. So just make it so there's 6 missions. Don't give us the other 4. Just 6 missions. These missions are automatically given to you. If you do not like these missions, you could then go into this menu and change them for something else. Now, that's a much better system. Like, a much better system. It would mean you have a lot less time in the menu, and it would mean that you're spending a lot less time fiddling around and waiting for the game to do something. And then, just make it so that when you return to the hub after a quest, all of those missions just auto-complete, and you just get all of your Battle Pass XP just slowly going on, and all of your rewards going in. And then you don't have to go into the menu anywhere near as much. And then just have it so that the game tells you what your next quests are. Simple. Friggin' simple. Sorted. I've just made your player experience 10 times better. I literally wrote less time in menus in capital letters and underlined it and put exclamation marks either side of it because I was that annoyed by it. Okay, so the next one is to do with some like options in the game. The first is to do with the graphical style. What I've written here is add the option to toggle the weird paint filter that's over everything. And it is a filter. It's not like a design on the area. It's a filter that they've put over the screen. You can tell this because the filter moves with my camera. You see it? You see it moving? You see that filter moving there? That like paint smear? That is awful. That's such a cheap way to do things. I also put as sort of like an alternative to make it so you can alter the colours and art style a little bit. I understand that the art style and the colour choices and things like that are probably to do with how they've made the game look graphically, and they will need to kind of like artistically cover up some of the jankiness to some of the character models and stuff. But the reason I want this to still be an option, even if it makes the game look a bit worse, is that the art style hurts my eyes. It hurts my eyes and it gives me a headache if I play it for a long period of time. Like, for most of this video, when I'm just rotating the camera around and stuff, I am mostly just looking away from the screen. So another option that I think they should be able to toggle is when you're in missions, you have floating weapons behind you. This really clutters up the screen. Some people like it, some people don't. And I think for those who don't, they should have the option to toggle it off so that you don't have the floating weapons behind you all the time. Because the screen is way too clustered for my liking, and I can't tell what's going on a lot of the time. And I just think that that would be a really nice thing to be able to toggle off. Another toggle thing that I'd quite like to see is to be able to toggle different visual effects on and off. Because there are certain visual effects in the game that are so obscuring to what you're doing, and just so over the top, and just like it gets to the point where you can't see what you're doing. It looks way too busy. Like, it's just, yeah, it's not good. At the moment, the only option you really have, I think, is to toggle damage numbers on and off, which, like, to me, like, that doesn't make enough of a difference. It just doesn't. Next up, the camera. The camera gets stuck in walls a lot. Like, a lot. I don't know if I can get an example in the hub, because it might be a bit different. It might be a bit different in the hub. But it does, like, I mean, this is kind of what I'm talking about. It's not quite like this when you're in quests, but, like, it'll be something similar to this, where you've got, like, a bit of scenery that is just completely stuck in the middle of your camera. And because you're locked onto an enemy or whatever, or, like, It could be anything. Like, just means that your camera just can't get out of it. Like, could it be your positioning? Like, just means that you can't like see anything. And I put in brackets underneath the camera gets stuck in walls a lot. It kills me, literally. Um, Another thing, the option to change the background music in the hub. At the moment, I'm stuck with this Near theme, which is fine, but I've been listening to it for the past half an hour and I hate it. Like, it's a fine song, or a fine track. It's just like, I hate that I have to listen to it on a loop for all eternity whenever I come back here. I've also put at the bottom now, remove the quick match daily. So yeah, you have a daily quest. Yeah, complete a quest using the quick match function. So the reason I've put remove this daily is because I don't believe it's going to function for much longer. It barely functions now, but due to the dwindling player base and the fact that you constantly get put into low level missions, a lot of people just don't want to interact with it. I would much rather interact through the like the menu where I actually get to see what quest I'm queuing into, because then I actually have some control over what I'm doing. So just make it so that like change it from quick match, or do quick match or party quest menu, because the party quest menu you can see what you're going into. The quick match menu, you cannot see what you're going into. So, make it so it's a hybrid quest. Like, play a match using the quick match function or the party quest function. Done. Sorted. The daily is now much more attainable, and it's a lot less frustrating. Because, yeah, quick match sucks. Quick match is awful. It doesn't work properly. And it's not fun to engage with. Basically, the lock-on is on L1, which is fine. I've got no issue with that. But changing your lock-on target is on the D-pad. This is incredibly, cumbersome to do when you're in the middle of a fight. If you've locked onto the wrong enemy because the game's auto-locked someone, who's in Narnia when you're wanting to fight an enemy that's right in your face, you have to then cycle through all the targets using the D-pad. The problem is whilst you're cycling through all of these targets using the D-pad, you can't really move around properly or attack properly. Well, maybe you can attack properly because that's on your right hand, but on your left hand, you're either on the D-pad or you're on the left stick, or you're doing the Monster Hunter claw from when you used to play Monster Hunter on the PSP. Don't know if anyone remembers that. But it's not fun. It's not fun at all. They need to give the option to. I'm going to read what I wrote here as well, actually. So there's no option to change the lock-on change to the right stick where it should be. And then I put in brackets, have the devs ever played a video game before? Because it feels so damn awful. I don't understand at all. I've been going for 48 minutes. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's bad. It's bad, and the devs just haven't thought about anything. Next up, the way power works is busted, and I've put underneath refer to a power test I did earlier. So what the power test I did earlier is I think, oh no, I've leveled up, damn it. Okay, well, I was at 124 earlier, and I went into the quests, and I did, I did, I tried to do the event quest. I tried to do the 125 event quest, and I was at 124, so one level beneath. Now, my damage was severely nerfed when I went into this quest, and I was taking about a quarter to half of my health bar per attack that hit me. I then did a test the other way. I actually went into the same. So what I did is instead of the 125 one, I went to the 61. And I was still level 124, bear in mind. So I was 64 levels above the quest. I went into it that way round. My damage was still pitiful. It was nothing. which leads me to believe that power is meaningless. Outside of gating content, it's completely stupid. It's designed to punish you if your power level isn't high enough, but it's not designed to reward you if your power level is over. It's dumb. It's completely dumb. It's just a way of gating content. But I want to complete all the event quests. So why are you limiting me? You've not thought about the player again. It's bad. It's very bad. That's the last thing I have for systems. But I do have a general section at the bottom, which we might have to steamroller through because I'm going to run out of recording time. But as general comments, I put this game feels like it was, and I'm reading this word for word. This game feels like it was designed for no one. It's more playable in multiplayer, but the multiplayer is horribly limited. The sense of progress is very minimal, with the Battle Pass being the only place you get any rewards of any permanence. So what I mean by this is, the rewards you get off of the Battle Pass are all of your stat-based gear. None of this is permanent because you are trading it out for something else every 2 seconds. Whereas the cosmetics you get from the Battle Pass are permanent because they don't have stats tied to them, so you can, use them whenever you want, basically. I then put underneath this, once the Battle Pass stops being free, players who spent money to buy the game but don't want to engage in the microtransactions, which are overpriced by the way, will have nothing to work towards, except for bigger numbers which mean nothing. And that's absolutely true, and I've proved it. You will see in the various videos that I've made that the numbers are all pointless. Nothing about this means anything. And the last thing that I put, and this is literally the most important thing in the entire thing, and this is something that if I could get Platinum Games to listen to one thing that I say in this video, and they're obviously not going to see it, but if by chance they did, the one thing that I would want them to take away from what I say here is that the game that they have made is not respectful of the player's time at all. Everything in this game is designed as a time sink, but it's not designed as a rewarding time sink. It is designed to waste as much time that the player has as possible. Everything from the way the menus are designed, to the way the enemies have bloated health bars, to the way that the gear progress is designed, to the way that the story is slow and sluggish, to the way that just everything about the game. The Battle Pass is just way too long. It takes way too long to level the Battle Pass up. The rewards you get for the Battle Pass are not good enough. Nothing that you do in this game is worth the time that you're putting into it. They've not thought about player time, at all. I mean, I'm only devoting as much time to this video as I am because I want it to be kind of thorough-ish. This is kind of just stuff that I've listed in the past hour, and I feel like I could probably have listed more as well that's wrong with this game and ways that they could improve it. But as it stands at the moment, the thing that I hate the most is just that the devs just don't seem to care how much of my time they're wasting. It sucks. It really sucks. They need to streamline a lot of stuff. They need to rework a lot of systems. They need to change how enemies behave and react to player attacks. They need to change how the matchmaking works. They need to change how the story's presented. They need to get rid of this horrible filter and do something else with it, because this is just, it hurts my eyes. They need to fix the camera, they need to fix the lock-on, they need to fix their servers, they need to fix the responsiveness of controls, they need to fix battle design, they need to fix hit detection, they need to fix the gear system, they need to fix visual design, they need to fix... Oh, I missed something. They need to stop doing cosmetics that are one-shot costumes. So I love this cloak, this black cloak from Nier Automata. But in order to wear this cloak, I need to unequip all of my other cosmetics. So I have to have that blindfold. I can't mix and match. So, and this is a cosmetic that I have to actually work for, You know, and there are some cosmetics in the store that you have to pay for that are like that. That sucks that you can't mix and match. Um, yeah, there's so much more. There's so much more wrong with this game. So much more. Um, but yeah, I just think that this game is very disrespectful of its players, really, is the main thing that I would take away. To all the people that have spent money on it, I feel, I mean, I hope you're enjoying what you got for your money, like, genuinely I am. But if you're not, I feel so sorry for you because, and I can see why you wouldn't be. Like, this game is possibly the biggest rip-off that I have bought into ever. And I do mean ever. Because I mean, I've bought some crap games in the past, and I've bought games that are worse than this in the past, but they were cheaper as well. So, yeah. Has this person also not been able to find a quest in the time? Because this person's been in the lobby the entire time I have, by the way. So yeah, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Farewell.